And looking at other news this hour, Iranian voters flocked to the polling stations on Friday to choose a new president. Iranian authorities put the voter turnout at over 73%. Now, massive participation drew widespread international reactions, with many media outlets hailing Iranians' decisiveness in determining their own fate. More in this report.
These long lines in Iranian elections are not anything new to people around the world. Friday's presidential and city and council elections saw an astonishing number of people cast their ballots. People had to stay in lines for hours and in some places in somewhat hot temperatures. The 73% turnout drew praise both at home and abroad. International media from across the globe highlighted the huge participation in their front-page headlines. Britain's prominent daily, The Guardian, said the initial results of Iran's presidential election was delayed to the high turnout. The BBC also covered the massive turnout, highlighting the extension of the voting deadline by 5 hours. Many American media reports focused on the participation of more than 40 million people in Friday's vote. The New York Times chose this as its headline, saying the high figure would give re-elected President Hassan Rouhani a stronger mandate. The Los Angeles Times was another U.S. daily that published a report on the vote. LA Times published interviews with Iranians that said they had come to vote in order to disappoint the country's enemies. France 24 referred to the Iranians' decisiveness, saying the voters tolerated lengthy lines to cast their ballots. Israeli media, including the Jerusalem Post and Haaretz, also covered the huge turnout in Iran's presidential polls. Meanwhile, the prominent daily, The Independent, published a report hailing the status of democracy in Iran. The report said none of the, quote, 50 dictators gathered in Riyadh to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump would ever dare to hold any election comparable to that of Iran's. Since the victory of the Islamic Revolution in 1979, some Western countries, spearheaded by the U.S., have tried to cast doubt on the status of democracy in Iran. This is while Iranians have long proved them wrong by taking part in votes that choose officials in different posts.